Welcome back, you sexy, cute, amazing, articulate, magnificent,
Articulate.
succulent,
There you go.
amazing,
All right. You said that.
phenomenal.
Okay. Limited vocabulary.
I'm getting there. There's one more. Never
Whenever you're
mind.
ready.
We are back
We are back
with a
this week. Not special.
special
So obnoxious.
episode for you guys today. We are getting into Fire Force Season 2.
Yep.
Episode
Finishing it out, baby.
17. Can you let me finish?
Can you finish?
Episode 17 through 24. Oh
All
my
right.
goodness, man. I'm trying
God,
my
that
best
took you
here.
forever. Your best
You do
isn't
the
good enough, dude.
intros. You do the intros.
I should, so I'm
Yeah,
not
let me see
calling
it. Let
people
me see a mock
succulents.
intro. Let me see a
No,
mock
not on the
intro.
spot. All right.
Yeah,
you want
on the spot.
an intro?
What would you do?
Welcome back to Out of Pocket Anime Podcast.
He's making fun of me.
I'm Shane Douchey Glasses.
Shane.
All right?
Who's
I'm
Shane?
Shane Douchey Glasses. Okay? And you guys
know
are
why
all
he's mad.
succulents. And you guys
I don't
are
know
all
why he's upset.
beautiful and smart and special, but not special needs. Welcome back.
That's my version of what you do.
Hmm.
See,
So
it's
you-
that easy.
So you just proved to everybody that you're a dick. Okay.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Fire Force, let's get it.
Now,
The
real
end
quick,
of season 2.
I actually wrote this down on paper because we had this conversation during the last episode where we were trying to figure out if the white clad were the evangelist and all that stuff. They actually break it down.
Too.
They actually break it down in this
Yeah,
episode.
they do.
Giovanni, when he's going off with his
Yeah.
weird bug shit, why
Yep.
bugs, right? Why fucking bugs? Why fucking bugs? Bugs are fucking gross.
I
And the
mean,
little hair shits he had was fucking gross. The whole shit was fucking gross, right? But I wrote it down. So Adola is the world. That's
correct. The
the
universe,
world.
like the
That's not their world that they're in now, but that's the world that like the
alternate world.
evangelist is from. That's the alternate world. Thank you. Best way to put it. That's the alternate world is called Adola. The evangelist is a
that
god,
bitch.
is the bitch who essentially
Correct.
runs Adola, which is a world, and then the white clads are the
ones who
followers
follow. Yep.
who follow the
You're 100%
evangelist
right.
as their god.
Yes.
And I was like, I had to write it down because I was like, I think I had it right the last time, but I wanted to make sure I
Right.
wrote it down because it's a bit confusing. And even when
Mhm.
he brings it up, he's not like quite clear exactly. But I was like,
Yeah.
I think
it
I
was
got
pretty
it.
clear. It was pretty
I think
clear.
I got like
Yeah.
it was he gave you enough for you to figure it out.
Yeah, and for
And
those
I
that
was
don't
like,
know, I was the one who really questioned that in our last Fire Force episodes what, 11 through 16 or some shit. I don't know, that could be
9 through
wrong.
16, you
9
can't
through
count.
16. I don't know how to count. But
No.
that is why you're clarifying now, is that if you saw that past episode, I was the big one where I was like, is it the evangelists who are the entire group and
Yeah.
then they call them white clad in general, or is there
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, I think if we
specific
went
to
back
that?
to it, I think I was right
Yeah.
in my explanation, but I still wasn't
Yeah.
100% on it.
You
It was
thought
still like,
you
I
thought it was
think
the
it's
one
this.
person.
Yeah, I
You
was like,
thought
I
it
think
was
it's this, but I'm not quite sure on it. And I was like, I want to be
in
sure.
this one
So
they definitely
yeah,
did.
when they brought it up, I rewound it and like wrote it all down because I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize they explain it here. But I'm glad they fucking did.
Yeah, I was too.
But yeah, I needed to write that
noticed
shit
that.
down. But that also begs the question. It's another question I wrote down in here. Is this show too much too fast? We've brought it up the last 2 episodes where we covered the first 16.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of had the debate, but now that we're through season 2 and we're getting into the final season, you guys, the final season, we watched the
It's
first
out
episode.
now. Yeah.
It's fucking fire. The animation's
Season
great.
3, yep.
We'll get into that more at a later
We're
date.
gonna cover it.
I just wanted to touch that it was dope and that we watched the first episode and that it's out. But with that being said, now that we're like kind of closing in on the end of it, do you think that how much they throw at you is too much? And do you think it takes away from the show a bit?
Yes, I think they have too many different dynamics in a good way. In a good way, right? Like they cover a lot of shit. They almost cover every fight. Unlike my criticism of Solo Leveling, where I was like, they don't cover some of these fights. They're kind of just like
Right. Leaves you
bypassing and
wanting
shit.
more. Right.
Yeah, right. Like just create more episodes. Like
Right.
seriously, like turn season Solo Leveling 12
Yeah. Now I
episodes
know
into
you're saying
16.
right.
But that's the point of Fire Force is that I want them to. I know they have 24 now, but I'm like, yo, if you guys turn that season into 32 episodes and really hammer in on these specific, like,
Take your time explaining things
right, just a
because
little bit
I think we figured out the last time we talked about it where it's that they jump from different places to show you what's
aspects,
going on.
I think
So
it's
it's like,
better.
it'll be like, oh, you see what Company 8's doing, then you see what's going on at Hijima, and then you see what the White Clad are doing. And that's how they kind of cram it all in there by splitting it like that and showing you different places and what's going on in different areas of the story,
Right.
but it's so much, man. Like
Like
I'm fine with it. And by fine with it, I mean like I can handle it fine, but I do think it takes away from how good the show could be.
right. I just think that when they sometimes do it right. They sometimes have
Sometimes. Yeah,
episodes
yeah.
where they
It's just
will,
enough of everything.
yeah, they'll
Yeah.
focus in on like the Juggernaut one, right? Like the Juggernaut
I
episode
fucking
where
love
he
Juggernaut.
had where
I
we really
fucking
had his
love
showcase.
Juggernaut.
So we had Ogun. They did a good job of showcasing him for one episode. Now we get the Juggernaut showcasing.
I'm a big strong firefighter.
Right, and it was just enough. Like, even though you had the Hajima off with, or not Hajima, but what's that guy's name?
Reaper?
No, the guy who off with the head, his homie, Juggernaut's homie, off with the
Oh,
head.
Captain something. But yeah,
It
that's the
wasn't a
captain of
captain,
their
I don't think.
yes, it is. It's the captain.
Yeah, not.
Or wait, is
I
the
was about to say captains are the leaders of the
lieutenant, sorry, it's
companies.
the lieutenant. It was their
Yeah,
lieutenant.
yeah. So a
Yeah,
lieutenant
yeah.
of company 2.
Right.
I
Yep.
forgot his name, but the green-eyed motherfucker,
Yeah, the one with
pretty
no
boy.
memory who fucking apparently forgot that he had powers
Had
in the rookie
abilities,
games and
right.
still won.
I don't
I
know.
uh,
I don't know. I
it,
kinda just let that
I'm
go.
I'm happy he
I let
died.
that go.
I'm happy he died because he
Whoa!
clearly wasn't a good fleshed out
Whoa!
character.
Whoa! What
He
do you mean you're
clearly
happy?
wasn't flushed out.
Yeah,
All
but to
right.
be happy is one thing.
Well, then they weren't gonna flush him. He was gonna be a
You're
terrible
happy?
character. Yeah. I was like, oh, thank
You're
God.
excited?
Now we don't have to figure that shit out.
He helped Juggernaut become courageous.
I mean, yeah, cool. He's dead now. I don't.
Off with the head.
Yeah, man. Quickly with the swiftness.
You don't care.
With the swiftness, it meant nothing. I was like, oh, thank God.
Did you ever think at any point like, okay, you're the the
The thumb
thermo
war.
nigga, yeah, the thumb nigga, the thermo nigga who can see shit where no one else can see, and when you tell him, hold on, wait, off with the head, it's like,
What's your
how do you
question
not?
here?
So my point is, how do you not see that coming when you're the thermo nigga? You can see her there. You can see her gearing up with her fire shit,
I
and you
think
don't see that shit coming when you're the nigga who should be able to see that coming
I th- I get what you're saying now. I get your point now.
based on his power.
Yeah. I think, cuz at the end of that, that's when Juggernaut was like, that bitch even got that nigga. Like what the fuck am I going to do? I think that was like them showing how strong and powerful she is. I think that was their way of showing
That's
it
an insane amount of power.
that he wasn't able to register it. I think that
That's
was
an
the point
insane amount of
behind that.
power.
Now, with that being the point behind that, and considering Juggernaut and Tamaki were the
Considering
ones to
Tamaki
take that bitch
survived.
down, I
Tamaki
I
didn't take
mean,
her down. Tamaki didn't take her
she
down.
wore her down a little.
No, she didn't. She didn't do shit.
She,
And
she
that was
took a
her.
beating like a champ. The rope-a-dope, baby. The
The rope a
rope-a-dope.
dope implies
She was taking
no.
hits
The
and
rope a
and
dope
and and, and
implies that
wearing her
you
down, dude.
implies that she actually got tired and couldn't use her whip
She got
anymore.
tired. Well, she could use the whip, but maybe not as strong. You don't know, dude. Were you there? Were you there face to
All
face with the
right,
White
just
Clad?
say
Nah,
you
you're
like
a bitch.
Tamaki.
You were hiding, dog.
Just say you like Tamaki.
I'm just saying she helped a little. You
Just say
know,
you like Tamaki.
she helped a little. Juggernaut was being a little bitch in the background. Oh God, no! Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank God I got all these layers on.
Insane.
Oh, no.
That's insane.
I'm just saying, man. But I don't know how we ended up here. I was
That's your
literally went
fault.
to go look at my notes, and I was like, "How the fuck did we end up here?"
At the Juggernaut
After
fight?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
"How
mean,
did we end
well,
up here?"
was that
Because,
not wild when you first saw it? Like, try to think back to when you first saw the dude's head get fucking like,
dude,
this show
that was
hasn't been
years
that
ago.
gory.
I remember thinking it was wild, just off with the head. I always think off with the heads, like, even when, in Solo Leveling,
But
when
would
the,
you think that if
ant
it was
was
Hell's
fucking
Paradise?
cutting off with the heads. Would I think what?
Would you think Off with the Head is wild if you're watching Hell's Paradise? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's common. Off with the Head
yeah.
is common in Hell's Paradise.
I
You would
mean, it's common in Solo Leveling by the time it
no, it
happened
isn't.
to 2 of the other 4 people, and I still was like, "Oh, shit." Like, it is what it
No,
is,
it's not
man.
common.
Now, you know how they're all down there fighting in the nether?
Yeah, which I don't like the way they, like, characterize that place.
I thought so. I don't like that it's the nether. I don't like that's what they call it. I agree with you. I don't like the way they characterize it. I did think it's cool that it's the old subway tunnels that just survived the Great Cataclysm. I was like, okay, that's actually pretty realistic that those would have still made it out. But other than that, I don't care for it too much. But
Mhm,
with that being said, like, there was so much information packed in those. It was like 3 episodes
mhm.
where they did that. Because the one thing I actually wanted to talk to you about is we find out that when Fire Force started, because I was actually thinking about this on the show. So let me start there. In the show, like when I started watching it and I was watching it through the first time, I remember thinking, I was like, why are the White Clad showing up all of a sudden? Like, the White Clad have been around for years, and now all of a sudden they're kind of just popping up now.
I was gonna say they
But
hadn't been around for years though, right? Like,
they
they've
had
just
they
they would have known about him then.
well that's what I'm saying is
It
like
would have been like hold
that
on, it would
by
have been like Demon Slayer where they know about the demons for thousands
yeah.
and thousands of
I
years.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is, like, they've been around, they've been an organization, but they hadn't made any moves, so nobody would have known of them. Because if you listen to Giovanni talking, he talks about he's like, yeah, when he's talking about it, he's like, all right, now we're in the final line. And I was like, oh shit. I didn't catch that any because I've watched Fire Force 3 or 4 times through. And I didn't catch that. So essentially, where Fire Force season 1 starts, that's essentially the end game. They're starting to get to the end game of the White Clad plan, which is why the White Clad has started to slowly come out to play. Because technically, and I say that with a very loose technically, they've been around for a lot longer because remember that the evangelist had another god friend, the dude who can change faces and shit, who pretended to be Raffles, who started the Church of Soul, all that shit, started the whole religion. So they've this whole plan has been a long time in waiting. And when Fire Force season 1 airs, where we're brought in, we're starting like we come in right at the end game of the White Clad plan, of the Evangelist plan, and that's why we're starting to see so much activity. So I did like that they threw that in there and kind of made that a thing. Does that make
Uh,
sense?
Kinda. You lost me at like where. So you're excited that they only showcased the ending,
I'm excited they
or
explained
that there was
that
a previous buildup?
that essentially the reason they're all of a sudden popping up and showing up everywhere and people are figuring out who they are is because now they're at the end game. They've been waiting so patient. Because I've always wondered, I'm like, if the White Clad's been around so long, why has no one ever talked about them?
Yeah. So you don't mind that they like bypassed all the previous warm up years? Like, you don't mind that we missed as a viewer all those
No,
previous years?
no, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't mind it, but I'm okay with it because they explained that that explained why they were all of a sudden popping up out of nowhere.
Well,
Essentially, they were building up their strength,
well,
right?
let's think about this. So by what I'm saying is like it's almost like you remember the original Star Wars series with the old shit,
Yeah,
where Darth
the
Vader
very first one.
was
Yeah,
right was already a thing,
yeah.
and then later on they went back
Spoiler,
in
guys.
time. Right. Anakin's Anakin's Darth Vader.
Darth Vader's Luke's father and Leia.
Right, right,
Spoiler.
right. But they
All
went
right.
back in time and explained all those little details, which made you go, "Oh my god!" That made you appreciate
Right.
the older shit more because they went back in time.
Yeah.
Whereas in this show, which they do have a universe, I forgot what show it was. Is it Soul Eaters or some shit like
Yeah.
that? Like
Soul
what's
Eater would be
the
after.
same universe, but it was
Yeah.
like thousands, right? Like
Yeah.
thousands of years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And they did go back in time, but they went back in time to a point where that White Clad, the main villain, or at least the main villains, the main villain is actually Evangelist, but
Right. Right.
the main villains are already in action, but claiming that they've been dormant, building up before that, but don't give you that show. They don't show you what they've been doing, like the
Right.
guy
Yeah.
Raffles
Yeah.
doing what he
Yeah.
did, and then the plot and
You
shit
don't
like that.
see you
Like
don't
you
see
don't
the
see it
plot
build.
developing. Right.
So you don't mind that as a viewer of
No.
Fire Force. You
No.
enjoy that they explained it but didn't show it.
Yeah. I didn't mind it at all. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. I know that was long, but the point was that like some people enjoy
Seeing
finding
that
that out, but
and
wanting to see
watching
it.
it develop. Right. I
Right.
get it. I get it. I get that. And I understand, like, I wouldn't be upset if they came out with that later on, if they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go back to, like, when shit's first started,
Like
because shit
when
was"
the Great Cataclysm.
right, and all that stuff, right, and you're gonna watch this unfold, like, I'd be like, "Alright, cool," but I don't mind not seeing it.
Right.
I don't mind just hearing this and just being like, "Alright, so we're at the end game. This is why they're popping up now, because now they're ready, they have the numbers, the pillars are starting to truly come out, shit's wild," right?
They've collected enough pillars, in other words,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, and
Like
then
that's
on top of
ultimately
that
why, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah. Because they were that's essentially what they were waiting for, is all the pillars to kind of start that, and then building up their numbers and getting everything else in the meantime.
right.
Um,
Well, and where we left off, let's not forget where we left off at episode 17, right? That's
yeah,
where we're starting.
17
Is the end of that pillar. The kid. I
of
forgot
him
which pillar.
awakening. Yeah,
Right. I forgot which
he's the
number.
sixth.
Sixth pillar.
Yeah,
We're getting to the end of him losing
I
his
hope so.
mind.
If not, I'm sorry, guys.
Well,
I'm pretty
end of
sure he's
him
the
losing
sixth,
losing his mind in that fight is my
dude.
point. Like we got to that fight and it didn't quite end at where we were. This is where the
Dude,
Rekka,
so
him, the fucking arm dude.
fucking each time. So all right, so first time watching this through, I was like, this shit's wild, it's out of control, kind of fucked, right? Second time, third time watching this through, I was like, this shit's out of control. This time, fourth or fifth, however many times I watched it through, for whatever reason, this time watching it through, I just continuously thought, this is fucked, dude. I was like, Natsuku's fucked. This is so fucked up. He is having a fucking mental breakdown because of what he went through with Rekka,
I mean,
because
over and
his
over.
parents, they went into his parents' backstory with his parents' fucking high expectations of him. He's fucking delusional, and this kid is like 10. This kid is like 10 fucking years old.
I can do
And
it. I
he
can do
is,
it. I can
yep,
do it.
and he is losing his
I can
fucking
do
mind. And everybody just focused on it. I was like, can we just, like, Shinra calls him a
it.
dumbass
Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, no, go
at
ahead.
one point.
Yeah.
Shinra fucking gets pissed off. He's like, "You fucking dumbass! I don't want you to do it." And I was like, "Dude, the kid's going through a fucking mental break. He's 10 years old.
Like
What
no
the
one's
fuck is
seeing
wrong?
this.
And
No
why
one's
are we?
seeing
Can
this.
we help this fucking poor child? Jesus Christ!"
No one
Like,
mentioned that. We always give credit to anime where they mention or like acknowledge
mm-hmm.
trauma, right? And
Yeah,
I get it. To a degree, they acknowledge that he's obviously
by
traumatized
by
by
showing the
showing it.
past stuff,
But
that's their way of acknowledging
they
it,
didn't
right?
show Shinra going, this dude is going through so much shit because of
Yeah,
the
instead they
trauma
just had
he's been
Shinra calling
through.
him an asshole
Right.
or a fucking
Like,
idiot
what's
or
wrong
whatever
with
he
you?
said.
And
Yeah,
Shinra voice, the what's wrong with you?
yeah. I was like,
Shinra's
fucking
I like Shinra's voice.
yeah.
He's a
But
unique voice. Whoever
But
voice acts him,
the things that get
good
lost
job.
in this is, for one, fucking Reaper does a speech in there, and I appreciate when characters are themselves
Yeah.
to calm him down. and he's
Just
like
be weak.
and he was like, yeah,
You're a boy.
he was like, dude, you're a child, just be
You're a
weak.
child, just
You
be
try
weak.
and get strong too fast, like it's okay. I want you to stay weak. And he's like,
Yeah.
really, mister? I'm like,
Really?
do you not realize how fucked that is too? Like, he wants to
Telling
fuck
him to
you
be
up.
weak. But
That's
that's
why
why
he's
he's telling
doing
you to be
this.
weak?
Yeah. And so it's always funny when someone's like in character and it ends up accidentally helping. And so
Yeah.
that whole speed, he
Fire
gives
Force
like a
does an
whole like
amazing job of that.
even Shinra's like, fucking shit, dude. That was fucking
Weird, like,
unexpected.
when he was like, "Yeah,
I guess he
I
balances
think
that
that guy,"
motherfucker out.
yeah, he was like, "That guy's the perfect guy for this kid."
Yeah.
And
And
it's like,
then
"Yeah, motherfucker." He's
yeah. So we glance over that, right? They glance over, they mention in like a fucking throwaway line that 32 people died during the Hijima attack.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, cool. So we're just gonna, oh, 32 people died. It's not a big deal. I was like, that's a lot of
That's
people.
a lot.
I don't know if you know this,
That's
but
a lot.
that's a good amount.
And
And then,
they didn't
and
have a
then,
memorial either.
and then they're talking to Hijima and they're like, why would you wanna
Actually, they
why would
did.
you they're
Go ahead.
like, why would you wanna do why are you trying to find an Adolaverse? And he's like, fucking, and they're talking to the dude in Hijima while he's playing his fucking goddamn video game. And he's like, oh, well, that's easy. I want to build a second Amamatamamatsu.
Okay, what did you
Anatamarasu?
just say again?
Amatamarazu.
Amaterasu.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's how you say
Razuzu
it.
Amata.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Amatamarasu.
Yeah, the Amaterasu.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
But they're like, we want to build a second one. And Shira's like, what is wrong with you? Obi's like, what is wrong with you? Vulcan's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? They're like, do you realize what power is that? And he goes, yeah, fucking human with an Adola burst. Duh. And I was like, are we just gonna not like this dude hasn't even looked up from his fucking video game and he's talking about it? And then they're like, and then to his credit, he looks at Shira and he goes, you put your life on the line every day. We sacrifice one life to save 15 million by building another Amaterasu.
Amaterasu. Yes,
Yep.
that's you got it. You
Amaterasu.
nailed it. You nailed
Yep.
it.
Thank you.
Amaterasu.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I said.
yeah.
We're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I that's why I just said
Um,
it.
but he was like, yeah, man, one life to save 15 million. Wouldn't you do that? And he's like, well, yeah, I'd lay down my life. And I was like, Natsuku's a fucking 10-year-old. What are we
Yeah.
doing here? I was like, this is all fucked. And they all just kind of like they glance over all this and never bring it up again. I was
Well,
like,
and,
what the
like, how do you walk away from that? So they
but
ended up
that's
walking
my
away
point. Is
from the
they're like,
fact
oh,
that
all right, cool.
Hajime is keeping this kid so that they can make him into another
Yeah, and
Amaterasu.
they even bring that up. They're like, "You're still testing him?" And the dude's playing his video game. He goes, "Show is,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
show is.
Show is."
Show is.
And I was like, "What's the point of this meeting?" They're
Well, the
like,
funniest part was, like, 8th didn't do anything. They're just like, "Alright."
"Yeah." They're like, and that's my point. Is like, what's the point of this meeting? They're like, "Hey, dude,
You
you're hurting
shouldn't
that
do that.
kid. You shouldn't test him." They're like, "We're gonna test him." They're like, "Okay, but why are you testing him? Because this is bad. We want to build another
Another
power plant."
Amaterasu.
Yeah, we want to build another one. Don't you know that's a person? Yes, we do. Okay, well, we're gonna go back to the eighth.
Mhm.
Are you guys good here? Did we understand each other?
Are we clear?
And the guy's like, yeah, we understand each other perfectly. We're gonna keep doing experiments and we're gonna keep this kid and hopefully this shit works out. And they're like, all right, cool. And then they leave. Now, that is an exaggeration because Vulcan was like, hey, I'll build my own power plant without that shit.
Mhm.
Without a person, and he's like, yeah, then fine, fucking do that. But it was like that's what he said. He said it just like he's like, all right, fucking do that. We'll give you money.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And
okay.
and then when you do that, then we won't fucking use a human.
Yeah. I was like, the fuck is the point of this whole fucking scene? It's like this
Yeah.
is fucked.
Well, and it's really kinda what the whole show comes down to, but then they still act like the whole purpose and finding out the purpose of the
Well,
white clad is still in large, and it's like, dude, we already know, dude. We already
dude,
know.
like, well, they do a couple of things too that just don't make sense to me. So, like, where they send Maki away, right? They
Mhm.
have a whole episode to show
The
how
Oze family.
yeah, they have a whole fucking waste of an episode where they show their family dynamic, which could have been done in probably 5 minutes. But they took up 15. and they end up sending her away, right? Because they're like, "Oh, we can't have daddy's girl. We can't have this. We can't have dad." I'm like, "Motherfuckers, she's been helping you this whole time. She went down into the nether with you guys. She's been up there. She did that fucking tornado fire fucking bullshit, and you guys are testing her patience. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Hasn't she done enough to prove that she's not like she's all in?"
Yeah, no, they sent her back, and then even during so what you just mentioned is what she's done, right? Like, you're mentioning all
Yeah.
the shit she's done, and you're like you're getting turned up about it because you're like, "This is obvious. She's done all this shit for us. She's been a fucking trooper for us."
She's rode for you
She
guys.
Yeah, right.
And
And
she's bad as shit.
she's hot as hell.
Yeah.
And when they get to that where they send her away and the lieutenant, her older brother, is coming in and helping out Company 8 during the Nether trip, he's just bitching the entire time,
The
like,
whole
"You
fucking
can't."
my favorite
Bitching.
though
But
is
hold
like he's
on.
like, "Oh, you have her out there," and he's like, "Dude, we use her as a meat
Yeah,
shield."
meat shield. Yeah, no, like, I was gonna say, like, this is the time
Yeah.
where they should be saying what you were saying, where she's done this, she's done that, she's done
Yeah.
this,
She's done
and
all
granted,
this to help us. Yeah.
he said a little bit, but he didn't really say all that she has been doing for them.
No,
And
he's
I'm
kind of
like,
being a dickhead.
right, he's just kinda, like, taking it and being like, "Oh, well, you should focus on the fight." What do you mean you should focus on the fight? Why aren't you saying, "Yo, shut the fuck up. She's done this, she's done that. Suck my dick." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think he'd focus on the fight if you weren't fucking with him the whole time. Like
But,
he's like,
I
"You let
don't
her
mind
fight this
that.
person?
No,
You
I don't
you let
mind
her
that
fight this-"
because I don't mind that because the brother's bitching. The brother is
That's
just
fair.
being a little bitch.
He is
Like,
being a little
he's
bitch.
the whole fucking how many times did he mention her? Every time you saw him,
Yeah.
my daughter or my daughter, my my
My
sister
sister.
this, my sister that, and then even the dad was, "Oh, my little girl, she's
Yeah.
this and that," and I get that, but like, dude, none of you heard of anything
Yeah.
that she was doing?
Yeah, but and then on top of that, like, so you have that, right? So we have the whole Ozai family fucking episode
You
where
said
it takes up.
Ozai?
Yeah, I called it Ozai.
General
Fucking,
Ozai?
I saw your fucking Iro poster and started thinking of Ozai, which is the one I have there, right?
Yeah.
But like, so you have the family episode where it's essentially 90% of the episode is
Mhm,
their family dynamic, and then you have the fucking faith being tested episode where the sister goes with Shinra to go fill up on holy water and do all that shit, stuff like that. And it's like these two episodes, I'm not saying I don't enjoy them because I did enjoy them. But when you look at how much they cram into other episodes, it's like, why not just make these parts smaller and space out some of the other stuff so you're not cramming stuff in. Like you could this would be so much better if we just kind of move this filler out instead of having concentrated filler. Like we just kind of sneak it in here and there. I
yeah.
do think it would have been better if they did something like that.
They split too much. So, like, the episode where they reached
The hysterical strength or
hysterical strength was in the final one where they
yeah.
officially but
Yeah, yeah.
it was split. Like, they had some of that part in the previous episode because they
Right.
fit
And
so
training is
much
your shit.
fucking
So,
episode. No, and I was gonna say this where I was like, I was glad that they took episodes in during this to train. The Tamaki training episode, perfect. But again, at the very end of it, they fit in the Shinra hysterical shit where it's like they tried to fit that into the same episode of Tamaki training her shit. Where I'm like, just take an episode for Tamaki. Just take an episode
yeah, and not like
for
where we have
Shinra and
assault,
Arthur.
her and assault going at each other left and right,
Right.
where she keeps fucking defeating him with her lecture lore.
Yeah, it's
Fucking such a hard
unnecessary.
thing to say. Also, fucking the White Clad have a problem here. The White Clad have a big problem, and that is they have a branding problem. I'm not sure. Did you catch that at all?
No.
They have like 8 different names. So they have the White Clad, then they have the Order of the Purple Haze, and then they have like the Big Booty Patrol, and then they have the chick with the titties, and then they have all like 8
They're all
different
called the White
groups.
Clad though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, they break out into, like, 8 different groups, like, can we just get one name, please? Like, this is why me and you were so confused early on trying to figure out who's what. And it's because they keep getting, like, they got the protectors, and then they got the pillars, and then they got this, and then they got that. Like, let's just call you all white clads, and then let's let everybody else call you white clads, so we can all be on the same page here, because y'all got a branding problem and it's fucking with me. I'm not a fan. Don't do that. I don't like it.
So you
Do
like it
not
like
like it.
Bleach, where they go, these are the Iran cars.
Yes.
Very clear.
Yes.
They have names for the people,
But they're the Iran
but
car.
they're the Iran car.
Yes.
That's
Let's
how you
let's
would want it.
let's fix some
They are the
branding
white
here.
clad,
Let's
but
fix some
hey, this
branding.
is
That's
the
all I
buff
asked.
iron nigga.
Yes.
This is the fucking shoot fucking heads off bitch.
Yes.
This is the mind control bitch.
Yeah.
This is the big black nigga who
And
absorbs shit.
And once again, dude, like I know we talked about it before, but it never ceases to amaze me how creative they get with the use of the fire.
Mhm.
You know what I
It's
mean?
fucking
Just like
amazing.
the different
The iron
abilities.
dude,
The
was
iron
fucking
dude,
insane.
even the dude who off with the head nigga,
The
who
bitch?
was like a heat sensor and could see the people, the dude who lost his head,
Oh,
the
yeah,
lieutenant.
yeah, yeah.
Like, even his power, like, it's like,
Thermal.
yeah, that makes sense. It's thermal vision, stuff like, fuck. How do you what kind of psychopath comes up with all these fucking uses for fire? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Well,
that
the hardening dude, the big buff dude who was hardening, that shit was wild to me. I was like, I
was
don't know how
smart.
you connected that
That
with
was
the whole
cool.
like heating to metal and then
Hitting the
metal
iron hitting the iron
heating
in
the
his
iron in
body.
his body, which turned into metal. I was like, that's wild. That's a
And so,
wild way of thinking about that.
it never ceases to amaze me how they, like, just keep
No, but
like,
how
finding
how
different uses for fire.
and how dope was Conroe watching him fight that white? Because they get into the whole like Adola Link niggas, right? Where they're like
Yeah.
they're trying to take out the Adola Link
Yep.
niggas,
He's a
and
dude. I
and
literally wrote Conroe's a dude
but hold
on
on,
here.
yeah, but they set it up right. You know what I mean? This is really
Yeah,
good writing. This is really really good writing where they had mention, okay, we need to make contact with the seventh again, and then they kind of bring up that Conroe's being followed, so he went out on his
right,
own but didn't tell anybody. He's just kind of doing what he's doing, and they wanted to go see him. And then even then, they let him fight the dude, where they were
right,
like, they could have easily have stepped in, which Shinra wanted to do. He was like,
right.
he's got Tefrosis, and then Princess Hibana sexy ass was like, hold on, let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Can
happens.
can always use more Hibana, by the
Oh my
way.
god.
You can't have enough Hibana on the show.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
how good was it again to see her?
Her
Like,
and Maki, dude,
oh my god.
you could just keep them on the screen.
Hibana can
Tamaki
just
doesn't do it for me.
she made me
Tamaki
want to
doesn't do
buy
it for it.
these sunglasses.
You're
Oh my god.
ridiculous. I don't know what that has to do with
You
her.
know exactly what that has to do with her.
I genuinely have no
She
idea.
got them purple eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
so you wanted to match
yeah, I
with
do.
purple douchebag glasses?
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
exactly
fair
what I want
enough.
to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hibana
Yeah. But like he did it just as with the fucking
with the
sword on that
sword.
nigga.
But
And
that was
then
dope, was it not? Like to
yeah,
see that
that was
he's
dope, but remember Obi did that shit? He ran through those fucking flames? That dude
yeah,
came at him and he was like, "Yo, I got this." They were like, "What?" And he's like, "Fuck this nigga." And threw on his fucking
ran
mask,
through it.
ran through the flames, punched that nigga once in the face and said,
And
"Sit
done.
down,
Done.
bitch."
Done. Out. Done.
I was
And
like,
I
"Let's
think
fucking
but
go."
what was even doper than seeing all of what Obi's done, right? We've kind of seen
Mhm.
him be that dude throughout.
Right.
And what was dope to me was the most powerful person in the universe shouting him out.
Oh, yeah, where he's like he always uses, like, he's
He
the
goes,
embodiment.
Benimaru, he goes,
Yep.
Obi is the embodiment of what you guys need to all
Hysterical
become
strength. Yep.
because he's on hysterical strength
All the time.
always.
Yep.
And I go, that was the
Yep.
biggest, best shout out from the guy we love,
Yep.
from
Benimaru.
Obi, the other guy we love.
Yes, sir.
It's like how much of a fucking moment. I mean, it was a moment to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucked with that super hard. I fucked with
I
that
was glad that
super hard.
Benimaru shouted him out.
Yeah, I'm glad they went back to him for training.
Yeah,
It makes sense, right?
I
Like,
love it. I love it.
granted, I
Training's
didn't
my
I didn't
shit.
appreciate watching him get tortured for fucking 2
Shit was
episodes,
hilarious.
but that shit was fucking making me giggle, dude. I
Yeah,
was like,
and then they're
uh,
like, "Yo, why are we
but
doing this?"
this show does such a good job of just letting the characters be the characters. Like
Yes.
they do such a good job of that with
Yep.
everybody cuz Obi's that dude. And even though he's kind of goofy and a lot of the times we'll see goofy and serious in him, like when they showed up to fight him in the Nether and he was fighting the
Mhm.
White Clad, they're like this nigga doesn't have any powers. He's like fuck this shit. Threw his shit down. He's like I got it and then ran in there fucking even like with Arthur, where they were telling him, they're like, yeah, Arthur's with the new group, but I gave them some tips. He's like, they're like, oh, apparently if we just fucking play into his
Well,
delusion,
I was fucking peeing my pants. So when he when it got to his moment where he met his group and the captain of that group was like trying to talk to him
he's
and
like,
he
the
was
fuck?
like, "You should bow down to me, King Arthur, and you are my peasants." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I
Yeah.
forgot what exact words he said, but I fucking was crying
Yeah.
laughing.
I am the night heckler. uh, I have been given permission to lead this order. Okay. So
Yeah,
granted. You
yeah,
may lead
yeah. I
this
don't know.
mission.
Just
I was like, this shit is fucking, this dude is so stupid.
but him that Fire Force soldier getting mad before they told him about him was
Yeah.
just fucking perfect.
Yeah. But they do such a good job of just letting each character be themselves in every
Yeah,
moment, right?
yeah,
And I mean, like even Tamaki, right? Because she went to the training with Arthur and
with
Shinra
the two little
because
girls.
because she was like, I'm tired of people fucking saving me. I'm tired of not being able to protect people, which I fuck with real hard. I
I
fuck with
mean,
that.
come
I
on, we
get
were
that.
all thinking that. We were
Yeah,
all thinking that. So
every
what
single
she
person
comes out
was.
saying was is
Like,
exactly
I
100%
yep,
honest.
I was like, "Cool, I appreciate the shit out of that. I truly do." But, like, even when she was, like, in there doing what she could, I was like, "Fuck, man, this is fucked."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it because she was training, right? She's getting better. Whereas like Rukia, it's like Rukia from Bleach. It's like, yo, you're useless, you're pointless,
she
and
trains, though.
she trains, but she
Just
never gets
doesn't get any
better.
better.
Well,
It just
and
keeps
she's
catching the hands.
what I think pisses me off with her, where it's like you never say it though. Like you never say, "I'm getting my ass kicked. I need to be better."
Right,
Everyone's always saving me. I need to be better. Like
right.
you're just training and getting your fucking ass kicked,
Hotto, 44.
and
Huh.
it does nothing.
Alright, dude, this is the only Hotto I've ever seen you fucking
and
use, and
where the
it
fuck
never
is
does
Renji?
anything.
Because Renji or Byakuya are gonna need to fucking save your ass.
Again. For the 8th time. Fuck we doing here, dude.
But Tamaki fucking mentions that she's that bitch and that she needs to get better.
Yeah, I mean, her backstory, did you like, are you a backstory person?
Not necessarily. It depends on the character.
Right.
Tamaki, I could care less what her backstory is,
Eh,
but Maki, I cared more. Like
right.
Maki, I
So,
cared more about than
right.
Tamaki. So
Well, her backstory was a little more interesting too. So that helps with that. I mean, looking hindsight 2020, right? But it's like I was like watch her backstory and I was like, all right, like I don't think it needed to be this. You know what I mean?
and who you're talking about here?
Tamaki.
Okay.
So when you see her backstory, and when I say it didn't need to be this, I meant like time wise. And this is where I get back into is it too much? Why are we showing like I think we could have got it if they gave us 2 minutes
Hmm.
of her backstory. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I don't think we needed
I
as
don't think it
much
was
as we
important.
got to kind of get it. Like I thought the good thing was like when they showed Shinra walking up to her at the 8th and being like, "Yeah, shit gets weird, but you're a boy. Like we still fucks with you. We know shit
Yeah,
gets weird, but you're dope as fuck, so
yeah.
we're gonna
No,
fuck with
but
you."
I hate to jump on you. I know you're talking about the Tamaki moment, but um,
You're
the
gonna jump on
Juggernaut,
me.
like we jumped from the Juggernaut moment. and Juggernaut was one of your favorite characters.
Oh, I love Juggernaut.
You
Him
know,
and
the
Fat
whole
Gun, dude,
country
they give me
accent.
the whole they give me
Yeah.
the I'm a big strong firefighter. Dude, I knew it was happening. I was still fucking laughing my ass off. He's fucking fantastic. I love him so much. They gotta
Right.
got on all these layers. I just want to stay here and farm taters, ma.
And that's why he
Oh, you
didn't kill
got
me
that
because he could
fire.
see through all my layers. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you got that fire magic up in you, boy. You can't be over here. You burn up all the taters, man. I just want to burn them taters right here.
I just wanna I just wanna make tater.
I can't get enough of Juggernaut. I just can't. I love him
Right.
so much. Like
But
we're
how
even where
dope was
Tamaki,
that?
that shit was fucking fire, especially because like for whatever reason, I'm wondering if you actually thought this too, right? So when Tamaki was like remembering the whole Rekka incident
Uh-huh.
and remembering Shinra saving her, or
Yeah.
remember Shinra saving
Teamwork for
her.
show.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said it right.
Yeah.
Okay. She was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, call out for a hero and I'll show up. And she calls it out. I was still expecting Shinra to pop up.
Mhm.
Like, were you expecting that as well, or were you thinking something else was gonna happen? Maybe not knowing it was Juggernaut, but
No.
did you think someone was gonna show up and it just wasn't gonna be Shinra?
No, that's a good question, though. Yeah, you know, like you see flashbacks or you see like
Yeah,
moments like that, and you think there's a chance that that person's gonna be the one who pops up.
right.
I think Dragon Ball Z did that from time to time too. I
Yep,
could be wrong there. Could be wrong, but
maybe.
um, but no, I just thought that Juggernaut was gonna because of the moment with the off the head dude had
Yeah,
happened, and they showed his connection with him. I just knew Juggernaut was gonna be the one to take her down. However, I didn't realize Juggernaut was that fucking
was gonna be that big of a fucking
yeah,
problem,
right. Like
dude. That
it's almost
scene
like a
where he,
Lemillion slash like who's like oh like a Lemillion and Bakugo combination, you know,
all
where it's
right,
like you have the blast coming, but then you have the aspect of my power is like I can fucking warp my shit. You know what I mean? Like I
kind of,
can
yeah,
warp it to
because his
where you
layers,
can't
it's
hit
kind of
me.
like Lemillion. I like that. That's
Right.
funny.
It's
That's an
not
interesting
that
way to look
power.
at it.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's an
don't get me
interesting
wrong.
way to it's an interesting way to look at it.
Right.
But
It's
like,
just
so that scene in
similar.
there where they're showing him, like, I don't know why I think that scene is so fucking dope, but where they're showing him like the
Come at
motion of
her
him
with that shit,
with the big
with that
one, and
missile.
she's taking off a layer and he's popping it out and still
It's
pushing it
coming
forward,
back and
and they
catching
take
it
a layer
again,
of the
coming
leg
back,
and he
catching
replants.
again.
I was like, that's fucking dope because in my head, I saw that as like they're showing his determination, like he's replanting into the ground. He's redriving this home. Like, this is it. This is all he's got, and he's gonna fucking get it off.
Yeah.
Like, fucking that shit was fucking
And you're talking
dope.
about whip after whip after
Yep.
whip after whip
Slicing that
after
nigga's
whip
layers
after
up.
whip. Yeah, she's trying to stop him. Like it is
Yeah.
very clear that she's about that action.
In a fucking panic at that.
Yeah.
That bitch was panicking. She's like, "Why?
Well, and then
Why?
the
Where's your
slow
body?"
motion where it hits her head, where the fucking
Oh,
shit
yep.
hits her
And
head was
it and it
fucking dope.
and
Where
it
like,
zooms in and it zooms in on just the bomb and it just shows the
yeah, and it goes, "Vroom,"
yep.
and then it hits
That
the,
shit was fucking fire.
and then
That
and then he looks
goddamn.
back and he's smiling at her at Tamaki.
Yep.
'Cause he's like, "Yeah, she's done."
Yep. I
No,
can
but
tell
he's
you
not dead though, right?
no. No, he's still
'Cause
alive.
they kinda, like,
They
implied
showed
that he
him
died, but then, like, implied that
they
he
they
didn't die.
implied that he died there
Right,
because she's like, "I'm gonna bring his body back up. Like, I'm protecting his body. He's gonna make it back up.
right,
I'm bringing his body back."
but he didn't die.
And then he didn't
I
die.
know
They
they carried
showed
him
that.
out.
Yeah, they said it at the end. They're like, "Thanks to you, he actually survived." They
Okay,
said it at one point.
yeah,
But like that essentially kind of wraps everything up. I think we've pretty much touched everything we wanted to touch. Uh,
yeah,
season 3 is coming out now. They
yes,
have 2 episodes out. I know we've only watched one so far.
yes,
How excited for you? Because we know they've already confirmed this is the final season. I'm not
yes.
sure if they're gonna do 2 parts or 3 parts, but how excited are you for that?
Very excited, and for those who've made it to this end of the episode, I mean, we're gonna mention it again when we cover season 3, but the biggest thing was we did see season 3, the first episode, like you mentioned, episode 2 just came out. Two things to that first episode, just minuscule things.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing was the biggest was was the biggest thing that I was looking into was the animation,
The
right?
animation, since they have a new
That
studio.
right, the new studio. We enjoy that. We'll get more in depth into that when we talk about it. And then also how much. I mean, that was insane. Like they don't stop with the information overload. They really do not. And
No,
by that I mean I can't even watch this shit in subbed.
no,
I can't
that
do
was
it.
rough. That was
I
rough.
can't do it. My
Yeah,
brain is fucking tired
yeah, that was
after
rough.
watching it in
It's kind of
sub.
like JJK and sub.
Yeah.
It was just
It's like,
so much.
holy shit, it's too
Yeah,
much. It's too much, and I'm gonna wait until it comes out undubbed.
yeah,
So,
yeah. We'll be a few
those are
weeks
kind of the
behind
2 big
because we're gonna
things.
want them to be dubbed, so we don't
No,
miss too much.
but again, the way they left off on this season was amazing. They did a
Yes,
good
sir.
job writing all of what they wrote and getting you hyped for a season 3, and it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad it's here.
All right, guys. We appreciate every single fucking one of you. You guys been really showing out, watching our shit. We so much appreciate it. It is so much appreciated.
Woo!
Like you guys have no idea.
135 on the last pod.
Yeah, we fucking like we were super hype about that. We were really excited about that. We appreciate you guys. Remember, a real friend tells a friend,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Real friend tells a friend. Make sure you
Like,
like, subscribe,
subscribe,
comment,
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 comment.
comment.
That's right, baby. That's right. Keep it in the family. What are we at?
793. We're still there. We've been hard
793. All
stuck.
right.
We've been
That's
hard
cool.
stuck in the 790s.
Yeah, we appreciate all the subs we do have.
We still
Guys,
love it. That's for damn sure.
feel
But
free to
help us get to
sub for your
800.
friends. Still their phone. Sub.
Tell your friend. A real friend tells a friend
A real friend steals their phone and
and subs for them.
subscribes to our channel.
We're
I'm
not
just saying.
desperate. We're not desperate, but do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right, guys. Nice. All right, guys. Comedy Hashira.
Blackie Chan.
We out.
We out.